Despite most people logically assuming the Wii was Nintendo's first foray into motion controls, it was originally planned to be the killer feature of the Gamecube, then known as the Dolphin. In an interview with Sega's US VP of Development, Greg Thomas, way back in 2000, he said, "I don't care how many polygons Xbox can put out, it's all about who can deliver the next great gameplay experience. I'm not nervous about Xbox or PlayStation 2 because we think we can make better games. No one will have head-to-head internet play but us. What does worry me is Dolphin's sensory controllers, because there's an example of someone thinking about something different." These sensory controllers were at the time speculated to just include a microphone and headphones, but a later interview with the CEO of Factor 5, one of the first developers to receive Dolphin dev kits, said that they were given an early prototype controller which had motion controls during their development of Star Wars Rogue Leader. Although Rogue Leader went on to be a critical hit regardless, the game was intended to be the big release that would introduce gamers to motion controls, with the spaceflight being a perfect host for steering by controller movement. In the same month of the GameCube's initial launch, September 2001, Nintendo licensed patents from a company called Gyration, which pitched motion controller concepts to Nintendo executives under the tentative name of a gyropad. This revolutionary controller, which housed a gyroscope in each side, also has one clear resemblance to the newly announced Switch. The breakaway gyropod concept, as it was known, showed how the controller would detach into separate controls called gyropods, which both house a gyroscope and would be used with one hand, mirroring how the Nintendo Switch is shown in its reveal trailer. The detachable control methods even go by similar names. In 2001, gamepad was the commonly used term for a controller, so Gyration took the pad part and portmanteaued their new input method on the front. Now that controller is the most recognised word, Nintendo takes the con and squashes joystick onto the front. Or they could just be following the age-old Japanese tradition of writing English emotions on all their stuff. This far-out concept of the gyropad was never followed up on for the GameCube, but Nintendo remained interested in motion controls, and two more patents filed in 2005 and 6 shows both a motion control Wii Sports and a tiny but almost fully realised Wiimote on the GameCube. This CubeMote is shown connecting to the console in the same way as the wireless Wavebird controller, and demonstrates the leap from gyropad to the Wiimote we know. After their runaway success story with the Wii, Nintendo clearly didn't want to give up on motion controls and sought to incorporate them into their next console, the Wii U. This very early prototype of which, from 2008, features two Wiimotes velcroed to the side of a tablet screen. As a bonus, if I enhance the back of that picture, we can also see an LCD screen with gyro glued to a Wii gun zapper. This Frankenstein's creation would be the persuasion needed to also add motion controls on the 3DS, showing how natural shooting could feel with gyroscopic aiming. Although it was later used on the camera app and not a lot else, Nintendo CEO Satoru Iwata recalls that this was urgently added in the very last phases of development shortly before the design was finalised. As I remember it, completely separate from what kind of gaming console Wii U would be, our own team performed a number of experiments with regard to gameplay using both the small screen in your hands and the television screen. An experiment using the Wii Zapper controller was what inspired us to put a gyro sensor in the Nintendo 3DS system. It's too early to say for sure how long in the Wii U's development the controllers were intended to be detachable for, but I speculate that even if that was what Nintendo wanted to do with the console, the technology wasn't there in 2012 to have three separate sets of batteries, gyroscopes and other hardware combine into one controller like the Switch intends. The three necessary elements of any portable device, and this will be crucial to the Switch's success today as well, are affordability, power and battery life. Ideally, a console needs all three of these, but practically it's often only possible to have two of the components and compromise on the last. The Switch hopes to strike a balance between all three, but back in 2012 Nintendo had less to work with. Bear in mind that the leading tablets at the time were the Microsoft Surface RT and Samsung Note 10.1, at £399 and £500 respectively, and it becomes clear that a high-powered controller-separating gaming tablet would have been prohibitively expensive, and this would tank the Wii U's sales. This led to Nintendo shelving the concept and taking the Wii U in a different direction. They compromised on power instead of affordability, using comparatively low-powered technology in the portable tablet, because all the main processing was done in the separate console part of the Wii U, where battery life was a non-issue and hardware could be less compact and therefore cheaper. By having the Wii U gamepad as a remote rather than the main unit, they could keep the motion controls that had been a goal since the gyropad, and have an acceptable battery life without a cost too high to appeal to customers. Add 8 years, technological progress and a console generation of polish, and this prototype becomes the concept for the Nintendo Switch. Dolphin to Switch in 16 years. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Special thanks go to Emily Rogers and her amazing 30,000 word write-up of basically everything anyone has ever known about the Nintendo Gamecube. Link is in the description and I highly recommend checking it out.